Today we catch up with Johnny Crawford, who spent 5 seasons as Chuck Connor's son in The Rifleman. The Western saga enjoyed a popular run through 1963.
Johnny Crawford, the beloved star of the 1958 TV series The Rifleman, and a man of many talents, passed away unexpectedly, leaving fans around the world in shock. His sudden death raised numerous questions, with his family remaining tight-lipped about the details, until recently. In a surprising turn, his widow, Charlotte, has finally broken her silence and shared what really happened. What truly led to the legend's death, and why did his family choose to keep it a secret for so long? Join us in this special episode as we reveal Charlotte's heartfelt story of her late husband, Johnny Crawford, wife of his old age. Johnny Crawford was known for delighting his fans with unexpected surprises, but no one could have anticipated the heartbreak his final farewell in 2021 would bring. His passing left a void and stirred deep questions, especially about how someone of his talent and stature could leave the world with so many unfulfilled dreams and lingering regrets. Why did a life so admired end with such unresolved sadness? The death of this legend indeed symbolized the end of an era, leaving his fans in a state of confusion and uncertainty. While his passing was linked to a secret health battle, others speculated on the impacts of his decades-long career on his personal life. At the time, most of the rumors circulating over the internet were that the Hollywood legend Johnny Crawford separated from his wife, Charlotte. But these were just baseless claims. Fortunately, Charlotte was right beside her husband till he passed on. Hence, she is the only one in a position to give proper details to address the state of Johnny before his death. In a confirmation message to formally announce the death of her husband to the public, Charlotte penned a note about how it was a blessing for her to be around him at the time of his passing. According to her, the last moment of Johnny was quite a simple and quiet one, as his breathing just stopped abruptly after a while of struggling to breathe properly. With this, she noted how relieved she was that her husband would no longer have to battle with the dreadful disease. Crawford died at the age of 75 after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. He was diagnosed in 2019. Sadly, he was still struggling with it when he was reported to have contracted COVID-19 while getting treatment in a memory care residence. He later recovered from that, but not long after, a bout of pneumonia took over again, which led to him having to spend some more time in a nursing facility. He was later moved to a care home where he would be close to his wife and family members. Unfortunately, he sadly passed away to his ailment on April 29, 2021. Charlotte Samco was married to Johnny Crawford for about 26 years before his passing. They got married in 1995 and remained together till Crawford's death. It was an interesting marital story, as it was rare to find a Hollywood celebrity marriage lasting longer without a divorce or more. However, there was no record of the couple having any children while they were married, but the two lived their days happily in each other's company. With the established fact that the actor had no children in his lifetime, he was reportedly stated to have been survived by his wife and his 2 stepdaughters from Charlotte's previous relationships. What is more surprising about this couple is that, while their marriage lasted, even though Crawford had an illustrious career in Hollywood as an actor and musician, winning many award nominations in his wake, Charlotte maintained a very low profile, as nothing much is known about her aside from being the actor's wife. The only obvious fact about Charlotte is that she is a white American woman, judging from the pictures of her that managed to get through the public space. Meanwhile, unlike his wife, Johnny Crawford grew up in a family of actors and influences that shaped his life and helped him excel in his career pursuits. You definitely won't want to miss knowing how he rose to fame. Tale of the Golden Boy. Growing up appearing on television back in the 50s, 60s, or 80s, Johnny Crawford was a very popular American actor, singer, and musician. Interestingly, he maintained his niche till the time he took his last breath, although with reduced on-screen presence. John Ernest Crawford, sometimes called the cutie Mark McCain in the TV series titled The Rifleman, and also one of the original Mouseketeers in the renowned Mickey Mouse Club, was born on the 26th of March, 1946, in Los Angeles, California. His parents were Betty and Robert Lawrence Crawford SAR-DH, while his maternal grandparents were Belgian. His maternal grandfather was the popular violinist Alfred Eugene Megerlin. He grew up in a loving environment with his three siblings, Corydon, Robert, and Nance. He was someone who came from a very defined line of family, with his great destiny handed to him in a silver place. However, this doesn't make him reliant on his family's influence. Instead, upon realizing his potential, he was determined from a young age to make do with his talent and got the best support from his family. When Johnny was 6 years old, his Sunday school teacher, who was also an agent, began sending him out for film work. He was so talented that in 1959, he and his older brother Robert co-starred in the series called Laramie. With their genius acting, the brothers were nominated for Emmy Awards in the year, while their father, Robert Sr., was also nominated for film editing. This gives a sense that the family was a powerhouse of talent in the entertainment industry. Having a great portfolio already at age 9, Johnny was sent to audition for a role as a Mouseketeer on Mickey Mouse Club, with the pressure and guidance of his parents. But this will definitely shock you. Can you believe that his endearing potentials captivated the minds of the producers into giving him the role? He didn't just get there and take the role, by the way. Here is how it happened. Johnny's fencing coach, Ralph Faulkner, got the call from Disney to send youngsters with special talents to audition for the Mickey Mouse Club. Johnny and his brother Bobby auditioned as fencers. After their demonstration, they were asked if they could do anything else, and at the suggestion of his grandmother, Johnny stated that he could imitate Johnny Ray, then sang his hit song, Cry. And just like that, he earned a spot on the red team as a Mouseketeer instantly. Intriguing, right? That's exactly the kind of person he is from an early age. With his self-confidence that he is indeed suited for the role, Johnny didn't hesitate to accept the role. Upon his acceptance, he began working with ABC to film the show, although he was never paid for the role he played, even for the subsequent ones. However, Johnny's parents told his agent that payment wasn't necessary since they had no intention of paying him at first instance. To them, money doesn't matter since they are getting something way more valuable than money. By first making his appearance in the role, he has already started earning the needed recognition. The initial goal was to get enough fame to launch their son to the highest peaks of Hollywood, ones that they had not seen themselves. Luckily, this little act paid off 1,000,000 times over when Johnny started getting more and bigger gigs. In 1955, he started as one of the 24 original Mouseketeers on Disney's Mickey Mouse Club, where he appeared in many segments of the Red Team. But at the end of the first season, the studio reduced the number down to 12, where Crawford was dismissed. Meanwhile, he wasn't the only one who earned big at the time. His brother Bobby also became a TV star by appearing on the show at the end of the first season. After his exit from Disney, Crawford had a brief career as a recording artist between the 1950s and 1960s, although he later continued to act on television and in film as an adult. He pulled out of the career because he had gotten what he needed from them. He quickly became a part of his first film called Sons of Katie Elder, where he starred alongside John Wayne, another popular American actor. By appearing in this film, he got the second component of a successful entertainer, which was confidence, and thus became part of many other major projects. His first important break as an actor followed with the title role in a Lux Video Theater production of Little Boy Lost, a live broadcast on March 15, 1956. He also appeared in the popular Western series The Lone Ranger in 1956 in one of the few color episodes of that series. For 2.5 years, he began freelancing, where he accumulated almost 60 television credits, including featured roles in 3 episodes of NBC's The Loretta Young Show, and an appearance as Manuel in I Am an American an episode of the crime drama The Sheriff of Cochise. Moreso, he starred in the 1958 Season 1 finale of The Restless Gun, and also as Bobby Adams in the 1958 drama Courage of Black Beauty. His appearance as Tommy Peel in the 1958 episode The Dealer in Tales of Wells Fargo was also one of a kind, giving his best in acting. Let's take a quick look at the pivotal moment that shaped his life to the person he became. Rise to limelight. Johnny Crawford got his big break into the limelight as a child actor when he was cast in the show The Rifleman. It was from this time he began playing the lead role in movies, aside from the junior side character he started with. In the series, he acted as Mark McCain, the young son of a war veteran, Lucas McCain, played by none other than the living legend, Chuck Connors. Being a very special role, Chuck was one of the first actors to play a single father role on live television. The Rifleman was a world-famous show that ran from 1958 to 1963. It was a major hit. Johnny appeared in a total of 168 episodes of the blockbuster, which in no time shot him toward the peak of fame in Hollywood. The appearances turned out to be of great blessing for him. He was an amazing lad who swept the hearts of all his fans in all the scenes that he popped in. However, because of his splendid performance in The Rifleman in 1959, he got the Emmy Award nomination as Best Supporting Actor at age 13, receiving the nomination for his role as Mark McCain, the son of Lucas McCain in the series. From there onward, Crawford had wide popularity with American teenagers and a recording career on Delphi Records that generated 4 Billboard Top 40 hits. This includes the single Cindy's Birthday, which peaked at number 8 in 1962, Rumors at number 12 in 1962, Your Nose Is Gonna Grow at number 14 in 1962, and Proud at number 29 in 1963. Now a symbol of fame and a household star, where kids wanted to be him and live his life of luxury, Johnny rose to become a golden sparrow in the industry, where anything he was a part of turns out to be successful. You can say he was indeed extraordinary. Can you believe that Crawford used his influence to help his colleagues in the industry too? You will soon find out how. Johnny's quiet heroics. You all still remember Johnny Crawford and Chuck paired together in an unusual father-son relationship in the 1958 series The Rifleman, yeah? You will be surprised to know that it's just an unexpected storyline that almost turns everything sour for Chuck Connors. The sweet and sour father-son relationship between Lucas McCain and Mark McCain was one that resonated with the audience at the time, as the people were not really familiar with the kind of bond the storyline made them portray in the series. That was why it was said earlier, if you are still following, that the role was a very special one for Chuck at the time. The chemistry and life lessons keep the audience on their toes. However, the turning point came in late 2013 when Levy Gardner Levin Productions, the original producers of The Rifleman, acquired the rights from MPI to release all 168 episodes in sequential order for the first time. The show gained immense popularity in its initial seasons, but the surprising storyline of Lucas McCain's romance with Miss Millie in the 3rd season didn't sit well with all fans. This led to McCain's relationship with Millie ending in Season 4, signifying less significant takes for him. Things got tough for Connors because, aside from missing out on the fan base, he wasn't being paid enough for the job done, and he wanted to quit. Consequently, he was almost replaced by James Whitmore or John Anderson in the subsequent series, but the plot thickened again when Crawford stepped in to save the situation. The producers were quick to notice that Connors posed to be the ideal fit for Lucas McCain, after seeing his strong on-screen chemistry and respectful interactions with young Johnny Crawford. With this notion, they eventually resolved to increase their offer, and Connors, upon accepting the revised offer, continued to work as the Rifleman. This is why Chuck Connors remains a popular star in Hollywood today. Otherwise, he would have been forgotten by the world. For all that is known, Crawford shared a close working relationship with Johnny, but their relationship off-screen was more intriguing. In a personal relationship with Connor, aside from the on-screen chemistry, Crawford had no respect for Connor as a person. He thought of him as a bother and a bad influence. He went as far as describing Connors as a practical joker, but that didn't stop him from helping out when in need. He had such a great run in his acting career, one that the world can't forget him for centuries to come. Fast forward, Crawford also played a key role in the early career of entertainer Victoria Jackson of Saturday Night Live fame. After the two appeared together in a summer stock production of Meet Me in St. Louis, he presented her with a one-way ticket to California and encouraged her to pursue a career in Hollywood. This led Jackson to early appearances on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, even though she was cast as a regular on the live show. In 1970, Crawford agreed to do a favor to his close friend, producer John Longenecker, by appearing in his student film, The Resurrection of Bronco Billy. Fortunately, the film won the 1970 Academy Award for Best Live Action Short Film. Later on, he appeared in a special 90-minute episode of Little House on the Prairie with Burl Ives, a 1976 masterpiece that explored many different themes, including adoption, alcoholism, faith, poverty, blindness, and prejudice of all types, including racism, drug addiction, leukemia, child abuse, animal abuse, and even rape. Interestingly, it looks like Crawford's future was already set for him as his other involvements brought out the best in him effortlessly. The reinvention of Johnny Crawford. Already a great actor at a young age, little did we know that Crawford's most iconic role was yet to come. In a short time, he left the screen and embarked on a daring adventure, giving his fans their wildest surprise. What did he do next? Of the lesser-known facts, Johnny Crawford was born into a family with strong ties to the entertainment world, which played a major role in shaping his career path. For this reason, Johnny's love for entertainment went beyond acting. He ventured into music. This surprising twist in his career path shocked his fans and resulted in many people thinking that his decision to suddenly pick up music was weird and uncalled for. But most of them don't really know him or his background at all. As earlier said, Johnny came from a famous family of musicians. Aside from his maternal grandfather, Alfred Eugene Magerlin, being a renowned violinist in Germany and Belgium before migrating to the United States in 1914, his mother also played the piano with the same musical talent as her father. Alfred was one of the first violinists for many big orchestras like the New York Philharmonic at the time, the Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra, the Los Angeles Philharmonic, and the Fox Studios Orchestra until his death in 1941. As a loving husband, he taught his wife Frances how to play the violin too, kicking off her career as a violin teacher. Johnny's paternal grandfather, Bobby Crawford, was also another big shark of the musical world who joined hands with Irving Berlin and other famous songwriters, De Silva, Brown, and Henderson, to co-found the Crawford Music Corporation. With them, he published many hit songs of the 1920s and had a managing relationship with Al Jolson, which evolved into producing Broadway plays and musicals. In 1929, he sold his music catalog to Warner Brothers, then continued his career as a manager and Broadway producer through the 1930s. When Mr. Crawford passed away in 1941, he left a treasure trove of sheet music and original recordings and passed on the musical riches to Johnny. Johnny always loved the fact that his grandpa Bobby was a music publisher and manager of Al Jolson. This made him love the musicals of the 50s more and had a passion for the westerns and comedies of the silent film era. By now, you will be wondering how Johnny really began his musical journey. That's exactly what we are getting into now. At a time when he joined the Army? Yes, you heard it right. He also had a career path in the military. Don't be too shocked yet. We'll get into that quite soon. Alright, so, while serving in the Army, Johnny got interested in the music of his grandpa, Bobby. At this time, he was stationed in Queens, New York. During his service, Johnny had an encounter with director Charles L. Turner and became friends with him. This encounter tweaked his musical interest in the 1930s musicals. Challenged to pursue a music career, Johnny picked up his guitar one day and started playing it. He played it so hard that he felt connected with the spirit of his granddad. He continued with this to the point of attracting the audience to his skills. In no time, people started drawing comparisons of him to Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, the famous musicians of the season. Interestingly, by the early 1960s, Johnny had already achieved his aim, having all the practice and skills he needed to move forward. This great achievement in little time convinced him to take a step further in his pursuit. He decided to pursue his passion professionally and got signed in with Delphi Records. But there is a mystery to how he got the records deal. During the period, it was popular for young actors to launch recording careers. At this time, he was just 15 years old. Some friends of the Crawfords were attending a cocktail party along with Bob Keane of Delphi Records. While the party was ongoing, Keane mentioned that he was looking for a young actor who could sing, and his friends told him about Johnny. Immediately, a meeting between the Crawfords and Keane followed, resulting in a contract with Delphi. The first song that Johnny recorded was Daydreams in 1961, and he promoted his new career by singing on The Rifleman in the final 2 seasons. Not surprisingly, he had no hard time selling out his music, as his existing fame as an actor, most importantly, the beloved Golden Boy of The Rifleman, helped him create awareness instantly and gain more fans. With this alone, many of his songs made it to the Billboard Top 100 charts. Throughout his music career, Johnny released 3 albums and had 8 Billboard Top 100 hits. He never forgot to follow in his grandparents' footsteps, Alfred. Also, Johnny and Bobby, as the Crawford brothers, recorded the songs Good Buddies and You Gotta Wear Shoes. However, 2 of his favorite songs from this time are Living in the Past and Rumors, which he remade in 2012. In 1965, Johnny starred in the film The Restless Ones with Kim Darby, in which he was opportune to record a dozen tracks for the soundtrack album, featuring songs of inspiration and the Western standard Ghost Riders in the Sky. Johnny formed Crawford Music Services in 1990, providing live music for events, and later in 1992, he formed and led the California-based Johnny Crawford Orchestra, a vintage dance orchestra that specialized in big band jazz and swing music, performing at special events. He always proudly shows off the band's logo on his drums during performances in Las Vegas. Fortunately for him, the orchestra got sponsorship from the Playboy Jazz Festival, which made the orchestra the top choice for the annual Art Directors Guild Awards, held at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills for 15 consecutive years. In 2012, a remastered version of their acclaimed first album, Sweeping the Clouds Away, was released, ensuring Crawford's musical legacy continued to thrive. Authenticity was extremely important to Johnny, so he ensured he used original period arrangements in his performances. He also turned the band's appearances into performance art, donning a tuxedo with tails and a top hat. He would step into character and stay there, addressing the audience as though they were in the 1920s. With his remarkable performance, the Johnny Crawford Dance Orchestra was ranked among the top orchestras of its kind in Los Angeles. Its client list included Paramount Pictures, Fox Television, the Art Directors Guild, the University of California, Los Angeles, and the University of Southern California. As it was like Johnny had already sworn to give his fans as many surprises as possible, he again shocked everyone with his patriotism when no one was expecting it. Now let's move on to see how and what led to his involvement in the Army. Johnny joined the U.S. Army because he thought that his country needed him, and it was his time to yield to the call. He left his successful career and all of his passions behind for the sake of his country. His patriotism for his country was endearing. According to him, once he is into something successful and leaves it for another, it never seems to him like he is giving up anything. Instead, he believes that he owes it all to his country. His military service began with basic training at Fort Bliss, Texas, and it led to the Army Pictorial Center in New York, where he contributed to the production of training films. He served in the Vietnam War from December 1965 to December 1967, and used to make jokes by comparing military haircuts to historical scalping in his letters home. Back at the Army Pictorial Center, he loved creating training films so that he could prepare soldiers for combat while also improving his career practice. He was honorably discharged in December of 1967 after becoming a fully fledged sergeant. Johnny came back from the military as a stronger man who focused on his career as well as his family. He bought a classic roadster, which, he said, put him in touch with his grandfather Bobby's spirit, and he kept on exploring the treasure sheets and original recordings of his grandpa. He reinvented himself as a composer, amassing a vast collection of song lyrics from the era. He put them on index cards and practiced singing them throughout his daily chores. In the late 1980s, he spent 2 years as the lead vocalist with Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks in New York. His time with the Nighthawks convinced him that he could make a living with this music, and he unrelentingly pushed on with it. However, he didn't stop being amazing. Already successful in music and films, Crawford still felt incomplete without engaging in some other things he had up his sleeve. A man of infinite talents. Oftentimes, when Johnny wasn't acting or singing, he could be found at the rodeo. He was an active member of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association and the American Junior Rodeo Association. For a number of times, he competed in steer wrestling, calf roping, bronc riding in both saddle and bareback, and bull riding. Also, he did trick roping with his good friend, Gene McLaughlin, mastering the act like no other. Just as the riflemen were almost flawless, his rodeo skills were thankfully trained because of years of practice. He took so much pride in being a steer wrestler, calf roper, bronc rider, and bull rider. In 2016, he received the National Veterans Memorial Medal at the Real Cowboys Silver Spur Awards show for his contributions to the preservation of Western heritage, his portrayal in movie characters, and his rank as sergeant at the time of his honorable discharge from the U.S. Army in December 1967. Aside from rodeo, Crawford also had a deep love for baseball, a sport that served as a great influence on his personal life. For him, this passion was more than just a pastime. It was a meaningful part of his family history. Baseball probably acted as a unifying factor for the Crawford family, giving them a shared hobby away from show business. Johnny's brother, too, Robert L. Crawford, Jr., dedicated himself to baseball as a career and competed in the minor leagues. Sharing a common bond with his brother with uncommon admiration for the game, Johnny, a constant figure in the spotlight, found solace in baseball. This allowed him to participate in a classic American activity, promoting friendships and a sense of belonging that differed from the loneliness of being a famous Hollywood actor. However, with further dedication to the art of acting, Johnny Crawford became interested in fencing as a personal pastime, which at the same time became a significant part of his life. Fencing demands agility, precision, and strategic planning. Hence, it offered Johnny a special avenue separate from his work in acting. He participated in numerous fencing competitions, showcasing not just his talent, but also his commitment to honing his skills in the sport. Johnny most likely found the structured and disciplined aspect of fencing appealing, as it provided him with a demanding physical and mental challenge. So, his engagement allowed him to enhance his sense of timing, movement, and physical coordination, essential skills for effectively performing action sequences and stage combat in acting. More so, the emphasis on strategy and quick reflexes in fencing played a role in sharpening Johnny's abilities as an actor, making him more adaptable and quick-thinking on stage. Additionally, through his involvement in fencing, Johnny gained important life skills related to sportsmanship and showing respect towards others. This experience helped him understand the significance of honor and integrity in various aspects of his life, not just in his career. Johnny demonstrated his diverse interests and dedication to self-improvement outside of his accomplishments in the workplace, and therefore received the Western Heritage Award from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in 1999 for his memorable performance in The Rifleman. This award serves as a respected acknowledgement of individuals who have made significant contributions to representing the American West in various forms of media. His last film appearance was a cameo role as silent film cowboy William S. Hart in Bill Tilghman and the Outlaws in 2019. With his great achievement and involvement, it is sad that it was just for a short period due to his health conditions that he was unable to survive and bounce back. He encountered the most difficult trial of his life when he received the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease that led to his memory loss. The revelation brought deep sorrow to both the actor and his loved ones. However, his family, fans, and friends worked together to raise funds for the specialized care that Johnny required. Johnny's resilience remained strong, even in the face of challenges. Despite having difficulty communicating verbally, he maintained a positive attitude till his last breath. His estate was valued at approximately $500,000 when he passed away, but unfortunately, this wealth quickly diminished because of the exorbitant medical bills. Although his life came to an end, Johnny's memory remains alive in the hearts of those who valued his work as an esteemed actor and musician. What do you have to say about this legendary actor? Do well to drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.